Welcome to our series on Ignatian Vision, our Ignatian Wisdom. My name is Kevin Leidick, and I'm one of the pastoral ministers here at El Retiro. Today I'd like to speak about a topic which will be an entree into some dilemmas from the life of Ignatius we'll explore in the next few sessions. Um, First, I want to begin with a story from the early church fathers about St. Anthony. Once the great St. Anthony, who was an abbot, was relaxing with his disciples outside his hut when a hunter came by. The hunter was surprised and mildly shocked and rebuked Anthony for taking it easy. It was not his idea of what a monk should be doing, but Anthony said, "Bend your bow and shoot an arrow." And the hunter did so. "Bend it again and shoot another," said Anthony. And the hunter did, again and again. The hunter finally said, "Abbot Anthony, if I keep my bow always stretched, it will break." "So it is with the monk," replied Anthony. "If we push ourselves beyond measure, we will break. It is right from time to time to relax our efforts." That simple story and lesson is all about balance, keeping balance in our lives, balance between extremes, balance that we can love and serve better. There's a story in Scripture in Luke's Gospel, it's only found in Luke's Gospel, which also is essentially about balance. So I'd like to read it and then comment on it in a way that's a bit wider than just the story itself. And this is the story of Jesus visiting Martha and Mary. Now, as they went on their way, Jesus entered a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. She had a sister named Mary who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to what he has been saying. But Martha was distracted by her many tasks. So she came to him and asked, "Lord, do you not care? My sister has left me to do all the work by myself. Tell her then to help me." But the Lord answered her, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and distracted by many things. There is need of only one thing. Mary has chosen the better part, which will not be taken away from her." That's a familiar story of Martha and Mary. It's only found in Luke's Gospel. And historically, we will look at that as being kind of the inner dynamic and the tension story of whether it's better to be praying, be contemplative at the feet of Jesus, or in serving, as what Martha represents. And so we tend to look at the story as primarily that inner tension. And the underlying question is how we are in best union with God, through prayer or through work, through service. I'd like to suggest to you that one of the ways of understanding the story is to look at its context, which is not accidental. The story is placed between two other stories, which gives it some sort of meaning. Right after this story of Martha and Mary, we have the Lucan Our Father, where we have the Lord's Prayer in the Gospel of Luke. Right before this particular story of Martha and Mary, we have the parable of the Good Samaritan. Now, one cannot say that the Good Samaritan, in doing God's work, in helping a neighbor, is in any less union with God than the person who prays the Our Father. They're both in union with God, but in different ways. And all of us are called to be in union with God through both service and also prayer, in whatever context we're in. But it's a question of balance. Some days may be more inclined to be contemplative. We're on vacation or during this time of pandemic. Other times we're called to be more of service. But both are genuinely in union with God in praying and also being a partner with God in God's work. So this story is not just the inner dynamics of between Martha and Mary, but it's a story about balance in our lives. God is the one who sets that balance in our lives. And certainly on days which we work, that balance is going to be different than, say, days we're going to be on vacation or a day off or a day of retreat. But God is the one who sets that balance. The reason why I bring this topic today is the next few sessions I'd like to speak about some areas of growth in Ignatius from his autobiography, in which Ignatius struggled to find balance in his own life. We'll look at some of the ways in which Ignatius, what he learned, and some signs of spiritual growth in his life. Thank you very much.